and welcome to Miss Bailey's Daily Dose. Today we are going to be learning to tell the time to quarter past the hour and quarter to the hour. So we'll start with quarter past the hour. When the big hand moves from the 12 to the 3, it's gone a quarter of the way around the clock. So the 4 clock, it's gone a quarter of the way. So if you imagine that clock is split into 4 bits, across here and across here, we can see it's split into 4 quarters, which I'll show you in a minute on one of the examples. And you can see the big hand has moved from the 12 to the 3. We call that quarter past. So it is quarter of the way past the hour on that clock, so quarter past the hour. The short hand, the hour hand, also moves a quarter of the way past the hour as well. So it moves a quarter of the way past the 4. So it would be quarter past 4. So you can see here, here's my example of it being split into quarters. And each of those quarters are worth 15 minutes. So 5, 10, 15, 5, 10, 15, 5, 10, 15, 5, 10, 15. Because 4 times 15 is 60. And we know there are 60 minutes in 1 hour. So when we're looking at a quarter past time, the big hand goes to the 3 directly. And the little hand moves a quarter of the way past the hour. And we know that 15 minutes make up a quarter of an hour. And you can see that here, 5, 10, 15. So there are 15 minutes in a quarter of an hour, and you can see that there. And when we tell the time, we either say it's past the hour or to the next hour. So the first half of the clock, this yellow half, so from the 12 to the 6, we would say that that's past the hour. So 5 past, 10 past, quarter past, 20 past, 25 past, half past. Now, from the half past up to the 12 on this side of the clock, we'd call it quarter to the hour. So we'd call that 25 to, 22, quarter to, 10 to, 5 to, and then we go back to o'clock. But in the minute, we're just looking at past the hour and quarter past. So if we're looking at this time, we know that on a quarter past time, the big hand is pointing at the 3. So that's that minute hand. Quarter past the hour, and we know there's 15 minutes in a quarter of an hour. So it's quarter past, and then we're looking at the hour hand and which hour it's past. So again, we know that it's a little bit past the number 1, so it would be quarter past 1. And again, we would write that just like this, quarter past 1. It's just like half past, we're putting that quarter past first. It's only on the o'clock time that you put the number first, so the hour first. So quarter past 1. So we're going to see now whether we can have a look at some of these ones. So again, the big hand, the minute hand, is pointing at that 3. Really long hand. So we know it's quarter past. And we're looking at that little hand and seeing which hour it is past. So you can see here, that's the one that we just had, quarter past 1. This one, the big hand's at the 3. The little hand is just past the number 5. So it would be quarter past 5. We've got the big hand at the 3 and the little hand just past the 11. So it would be quarter past 11. Again here, the big hand's pointing at the 3 and the little hand is just past the 6. So it would be quarter past 6. Big hand's on the 3, so it's quarter past, and it's just past the number 12. And it's as easy as that. So you're looking for that big hand pointing at the 3 and the little hand, which hour is it just past? It's just past the number 8. Same with this one, it's just past the number 10. Just past the number 3. Just past the number 7. So, have a look whether you can do it on your clocks. What would quarter past 2 look like? So if I do it on here, I know that my big hand needs to be on the 3 directly, and my little hand is just past the 2. It's a quarter of the way past the 2. So you can see here that that would show quarter past 2. What would quarter past 9 look like? Well, again, my big hand would be on my 3. And my short hand, my hour hand, needs to be just past the 9. So you can see here, I've got quarter past, and then it's just past the 9. It's just on that little dot there. And what would quarter past 7 look like? Again, it needs to be the big hand on the 3, and the little hand a quarter of the way past the 7. So, as I said before, we either say it's past the hour or to the next hour. This time we're going to be looking at 1:45. So that's this side of the clock, and that's 15 minutes until the next hour. So 1/4 the hour is 15 minutes past that hour, and 1/4 the hour is 15 minutes until the next o'clock time, until the next hour. So at 1/4 time, the big hand points to the 9, and the little hand is 3/4 of the way to the next hour. So it's just before the next hour. Now on a 2 time, we would say that it's 1/4 and then the next hour. So on a 1/4 you're looking at where the little hand is past and which hour hand is past. On a 1/4, you're looking at which hour is going to be next. So for example, on this clock, I've got 1/4. Now it's past the 7 and it's right before the number 8. So we would call that 1/4 and that's how we do it. So on this one, you can see the time is 1/4 and I'm looking at where that little hand is past and where it's going to. So it's just before the number 12. So I know that it would be 1/4. The big hand's pointing at the 9. The little hand is 3/4 of the way past the 11. So it would be 1/4, just like that. So we know when the big hand is pointing at the 9, it's 1/4 to the next hour. It's 15 minutes until the next hour. And it's 45 minutes past. So if you were up here, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45 minutes. But we call it 2. So it's 15 minutes to, but 45 minutes past. So remember, o'clock, the shorthand is directly at the hour. So you can see here that hour hand is directly on the 9, that's 9 o'clock. 15 minutes past, the little hand is 1/4 of the way past the 9, a tiny bit. Half past, you know it's halfway past the 9 and between the next hour. And 1/4, it's 3/4 of the way around the clock, and therefore it's just before that next hour. It's 15 minutes before. So this is some of my questions that you can have a little look at home. So hard. Where does the big hand point to show 1/4 the hour? Harder. Show me 1/4 on your clock. And even harder, what might you be doing at 8 o'clock? Explain your answer. Now, these questions are a mixture, looking at 1/4, 1/4, o'clock times, to refresh your memory from the previous lessons. So, have a little go, see whether you can do them, and then we'll go through the answers. So, hard, where does the big hand point to show 1/4 the hour? Harder, show me 1/4 on your clocks. Even harder, what might you be doing at 8 o'clock? Explain your answer. So we'll start with hard. Where does the big hand point to show 1/4 the hour? So I know that 1/4, it points to 3. Half past, it points to 6. 1/4, it points to the 9. Show me 1/4. So again, if it's 2/7, it's not gone past that 7 yet. So it's just before the 7, 1/4. And what might you be doing at 8 o'clock? Explain your answer. Well, that depends whether it's 8 o'clock in the morning or 8 o'clock in the evening. At 8 o'clock in the morning, I'm usually getting up and having my breakfast. But at 8 o'clock in the evening, I'm usually sat down or I'm drying the plates from my cooking. So explaining your answer, 8 o'clock, it could be 8 o'clock in the morning or 8 o'clock in the evening. Remember, we've got 24 hours in our day. So what time is it? Here are some clocks here showing some 1/4 times. The big hand's on the 9, so I know it's 1/4, and the little hand is just before the 5, so it'd be 1/4 and I can write that up here. So 1/4 Next one. The big hand's on the 9, so I know it's a 1/4 time, and it's just before the 7. So it's 1/4 to 7. I apologise for that big stroke. Next one, big hand's on the 9, the little hand's just before 3. So again, it would be 1/4 to 3. And if we go underneath, 1/4 to, it's just before the 11, so it'd be 1/4 to 11. 1/4 to, it's just before the 10, 1/4 to 10. And 1/4 to, it's just before the 6, so 1/4 to 6. Fantastic. So see whether you can have a turn at now drawing it. So I'm going to show you a quick example of how, again, we would draw 1/4 to. So I've got my clock. Again, oh, silly Miss Bailey. So when I'm doing a 1/4 past time, I know my big hand has to go to the 3 because it's a 1/4 of the way around the clock, which is 15 minutes. So my big hand would point to 3, and say if I was doing 1/4 past 11, my big hand would be at my 3, and my little hand would be a 1/4 of the way past the 11. And again, I've got quite a small hand, so a lot smaller than this one, and you see it's just past that 11. If I was doing a 1/4 to time, so I'm doing it in a different colour, my big hand would be going to the 9, it's 1/4 to the hour, and if I was doing 1/4 to 10, say, I know that my little hand has to be just before the 10. It's not on the 10, but you can see it's just before it. And again, I've got 15 minutes until the next hour. So see whether you can have a turn at drawing on some of those hands.